they said McCaffrey's a crack.
With that, welcome to episode 8
The
of the
perfect
of the Copium
spot.
Take. I'm your host Drew. I'm here with Jake and Jonah. We're talking fantasy this week. The whole
Yes,
order we
dude.
said fuck the review preview of preseason. We'll do week 2 of preseason because it's vaguely interesting. But we want to do
So,
fantasy, so we're doing fantasy.
so what are we starting with? Dungeons and Dragons or
I'll get Jonah excited. He loves that game.
no, what a nerd.
Oh fuck! I
D&D?
forgot that. I meant to start here. I got distracted.
Oh, oh
What
no.
edition first?
There's not more than one edition.
Edition
There's
They're
first,
only
8.5.
second, third, 3.5, fourth,
D&D
fifth.
didn't start until Stranger Things came out.
That's true.
That was the
That
start
show
of
set in
D&D.
the 70s invented it.
Yeah. That they watched that show and they decided to go back in time and make the game back in the 70s because of that show that they had now.
All right. Well, we're doing fantasy football this week.
Oh, football. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I think the way we're gonna do it is we all have come together pre-pod and pick 3 players from quarterback, running back, and tight end. None of the other
Sure.
positions matter.
Sure, we come together quite often.
If you play with kickers and defense still, you're
Get
cringe.
out.
You're cringe. Just leave. Don't be like my dad, who still is like, I think the kickers and the defense, it changes the league. It doesn't change shit.
I'll listen to an argument about defense, but kickers are useless.
Hey, all I'm going to say
Kickers
is,
are way
since we're
too
not going to
mobile.
talk about it at all, if you are playing in a league with kickers and defense, Evan McPherson for kicker.
Sure. Sure.
And I'd probably go Colts for defense this year.
And in case anybody was wondering, that was Florida. It was a Florida player.
Yeah.
Wait, who? The Colts defense played at
Colts,
Florida?
there's sure, for sure. You did
All
too.
11 of them, yeah.
There's for sure a Colts player. But yeah, so we're not gonna talk about kickers and defense because they do not matter. So, with that being said, we're also actually gonna add on the positions. We're gonna add a player we don't like. And then we're gonna do a first tier
like
player, a second tier player, and a sleeper for each position. We've all picked 3 separate players. So you have 9 players to draft or not draft. Or maybe, if you think about it the right way, you just pick all the players we hate, and then you'll win your league. You create the perfect team, because we all suck.
just ignore us and
Mhm.
guaranteed win league.
That's probably the move, honestly. That's probably the move. So, does anyone want to start?
Well, are we going QB first, I'm
Yeah, we'll
assuming?
start with Quibs. Do we just start with the number 1 quarterback?
I
That work?
I don't think any of us put Hurts on our list, did we?
Okay, we're starting with O.J. Allen, baby.
Ooh,
Josh Allen is my tier 1 quarterback.
you're not on him.
And I will preface this by, if I was drafting, I'm probably not going to draft him. But I do want to talk about him because I think there's some interesting tips here for him. Because, I think Josh Allen is in a class of his own in terms of quarterbacks. But you are also going to have to pick him in the second round most likely.
I'm assuming you're saying as a fantasy class.
Oh yeah, this is all throughout the pod. If I say something, or honestly, you guys might want to chime in. If I say something, has to do with fantasy. If someone is talking about Jalen Hurts and talk about how good he is, we're talking about fantasy football.
Fantasy football, a god.
A lot
On
of
the
a lot of my
field.
fantasy opinions mirror real life.
Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
But I think Josh Allen, like I said, he's just in a tier of his own with fantasy. He's gonna run the ball.
As somebody who had Josh Allen last year, I 100% agree. He was head and shoulders above pretty much everybody else for so much of that.
He gives you
He was
6
routinely
touchdowns.
the best player I had on my team.
You got 6 rushing touchdowns from him, in which in most leagues, I think most leagues the standard is kind of finally flipped over to 4 points for a touchdown, but you still get the 6 for rushing. So that's what I think still makes him just that extra bit valuable. He still runs the ball.
Even more than those 6 touchdowns, it's the 760 rushing yards.
That's 76 fantasy points right there.
Crazy.
throughout the season. So, yeah, I think I don't know. I mean he's good, but I think the more interesting concept or conversation here is, well, I mean, what do you guys think of his ADP? Are any of you guys in like a 12-man league picking Josh Allen?
You're talking to the fans right now, right? You want to
Yeah, I'm
answer?
I'm waiting for him to type.
All
Put
right,
them
just making
future
sure.
comments. I
Um, I don't know.
mean he's
My
average.
issue is it has nothing to do with him, but it more of just who else is around at that time and how quick those positions die
I
out.
mean, yeah, right now he's
Which I think,
averaging 24. I mean, you can look on here. People around him are Aaron Jones, Hill, Mark Andrews,
like to
Fournette.
me, just getting Leonard Fournette as a second back or something is more important than having Josh Allen as your QB1.
Yeah. What about in the two
I-
QB league though? What does that change at all?
I I
He's
still
definitely
think that's
more interesting,
true.
but I think no earlier than the beginning of the third round because you're paying a premium to get the guys who are just the best at those positions. But those extra like 3 or 4 points on average that he's gonna get, then like that's next level just below him. It's not worth the extra like 2 to 3 rounds higher you have to draft him.
Like, yeah, so if I can get him literally at 24, so the third round, fourth pick in a 10 team league, if you can get him at that in a 2 QB league, yes, he's worth it.
Well, what if I could tell you this narrative of we have a 12-man league and you're picking Allen on the turn, so you still get the next pick as well.
But you had pick one.
I'm two, you're saying I'm 210 or 3-1
Yeah,
picking him? 2 QB league or single QB?
either.
2 QB probably, I probably would pull the trigger. Single QB probably not.
What if this is a 6-point touchdown league for passing?
Then yeah.
That
Well,
changes
that
it.
does no. I don't. I think that makes it worse for him because I think that bumps up the
You think
guys
that
behind him, Mahomes
you think
and
that
Herbert.
you think that bumps other guys more? You're saying?
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
so.
that makes what separates Josh Allen. It makes it worse.
Okay.
Well, so I partially agree with that, Jonah. Like the other guys are closer to him then, but now having one of those top two tier QBs is a bigger deal. And in this hypothetical, your next pick's not till the 4-10-5-1 or the 4-12-5-1 or whatever it was. In which case, now I'm worried I'm not getting one of those
I,
top tier guys.
at that point, I would think that you're able to get my quarterback here, Lamar Jackson,
Oh, what a
and you're
fucking
feeling pretty happy.
segue!
Yeah,
Holy.
but not. I mean, I like Lamar, but I don't like Lamar compared to other QBs if it's a 6 for passing touchdown.
Let's segue into Lamar. Jonas tier one.
I agree he doesn't separate himself as much in a league like that, but it doesn't really matter. I think he's still right there in that
I think
top
he's a,
four or
I think
top
he's a tier
five zone.
low. I think it's a tier lower in that. In
No.
that, I would take. Yeah, I would take in that situation if
Look
it's
at
a
look at how few games he played. He missed how
yeah
many games last year?
six
He missed
six I believe.
four,
No, I think six.
Six. Cause, well, no,
six.
he
Yeah,
missed five because he was a bye.
yeah. He missed 5 games and he still had more rushing yards than Josh Allen,
Yes, but
Same
if you
amount,
and the same
but
number.
4 less touchdowns.
No. It's,
But that is true. He didn't play, so that's wild. He did not score that much rushing wise. That's wild. I feel like, but Josh Allen has a such bigger frame.
and I expect he probably won't score a whole lot more touchdowns rushing wise again because now they'll have Dobbins back.
Maybe.
I don't. I don't like Dobbins. I don't think Dobbins matters that
You
much to him.
you don't have to like Dobbins to understand that Dobbins will be their predominant goal line toucher though.
I disagree. The part of the big reason why I like
Not
I like Lamar Jackson so much this year is it's a contract year, and he hasn't been paid yet, and he's getting increasingly pissed off that the Ravens aren't offering him top dollar. I think he's
I
gonna
think
go out
Lamar's
there and
gonna
he's gonna
take it.
play a lot of hero ball this year.
Yeah, but it's you're not. They ain't gonna risk it. There's no reason in tight scenarios. You have a power back who's excelled in goal line at all times. There's no reason to risk running your QB in that scenario. They will feed Dobbins in the low red zone, 100%. I would. This could be another. This could not be another draft bet. Gamble draft pick gamble.
Jake, you're running out of picks.
About what? About who's
Also,
gonna score more rushing touchdowns?
look at the irony of that right there. They're right next to each other. What's that?
That's funny. But yeah, you're getting them in, towards the end of the fourth, 10-man.
I didn't even think about that.
I mean, I like that value, especially in a two quarterback league. But I guess I would imagine most of these
Yeah,
candidates are
I
for
don't think they
one.
have it set up. Yeah.
He's a quarterback 4 coming off the board. I mean, I'm with Jonah. I like Lamar. I like the contract year. I don't like him much as Allen, but I like Lamar in terms of where I'm gonna end up getting him.
I like Lamar too, but Lamar is a top of tier two who has the potential to be up there with any of them in tier one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's to me the way I draft. That's what I want in my quarterback. I don't care
I
about these
think
top one guys.
Value wise,
I
he
think
might be
he's the
better
bottom
off.
of tier one, and if he's as selfish as I think he's gonna be in this contract year, he's gonna put up that MVP season stats again.
See, like my thing is the other three QBs, I'm not blown away in a league if they're taken all by the end of round three, you know? I'm not blown away. I think people reached a
Yeah,
little bit.
they've got higher
I
floors,
I think people
and I
reached a
think that's
bit,
why
but
they're
I'm not blown
definitively being
away.
drafted higher.
With Lamar, I'm not shocked if he's taken in round 5 or 6 almost.
I think Lamar
Like
6 and
Lamar,
6, you just grab him.
No, I think that's the thing
yeah,
though. Is
100%. I
I
think
think
he's taken.
people are letting Lamar Jackson fall too much.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying in terms of he can't. To me, he can't be in a tier with them if I think he's going a full 2 rounds later.
I disagree. I think he's gonna. Yeah, he might outperform Mahomes very easily this year.
I don't know. I think something to also remember with Lamar is that this is as bad as the Ravens receiver cores have been for him. This is his worst receiving core he's ever had, and I don't think that's debatable. I mean, I know Lamar. You guys have heard 1,000 times from me. I know I don't. You guys know that I don't think he can throw that well, but
This is the thing though. Is like it doesn't matter. He's a running back who just throws occasionally. He's gonna
Whoa,
play like a running back who just throws occasionally.
I
he's a
mean that's why
QB.
I still like him. But I'm just saying it's something to think about. I mean, think how many more time, like legitimately think about how many more times last season he would have had a few more points if Marquise Brown just doesn't butterfingers touchdowns. I mean, I can off the top of my
Zero
head
dubs.
think of like 3 or 4 times he did it. I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying. That's why
I
the
mean,
receiving
yeah.
course is better in my mind. Less drops.
I think
I don't.
Rashad Bateman for the whole season healthy is important. I don't I don't like a lot of the depth behind that for sure. But I still like
I saw too that
I
their
still like Mark
receiving core
Andrews.
is getting paid the least this year out of all NFL teams. It was like 11 million combined,
Hey,
Less
they
than
ain't
the
worried about
Bears?
they ain't worried about that money. They're just worried about getting dubs.
and they won't.
How?
They have no. They're paying no receivers anything, but they're like Lamar. Just
They're like,
wait.
It's
sorry,
because
Lamar, we
they've
can't afford
invested
it.
so heavily in that defense.
They said, sorry, Lamar, we can't afford it. We got 11 million poured into your receivers. And he's like, oh, which one? He's like, oh, no, that's all of them.
He's like, oh man, we got a guy. He's like, no, 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 no.
No, we have a bunch of guys all on
They've got
discount.
Bateman and then a bunch of
Not fancy.
Jags.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've talked about Lamar. You guys
Yeah.
ready to move on? Let's go,
I
Jake.
don't know.
Jake,
Do we have any other
Jake,
quarterbacks you want to talk about?
Jake has Jake has specifically asked to not put his into our little Discord chat, so we know who we will be talking about.
Everything's a surprise.
So Jake, I mean, it's your floor, Jake.
I was the last one, so
It's
I
your
was like, you know
floor.
what? Let's have fun with mine and make it a surprise. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty obvious which one I'm picking here. I mean, went with the man, the myth, the legend, coming for the MVP this year, a Mr. Justin Herberto. I don't know if he's actually coming for MVP, but I really like him, and they just sling the ball. And my thing is, everything's built around him just having so much production. Because, like, even like half of Eckler's touches come via catches. Everything just should feed him production wise.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I have no.
and like, and there's no way, like, I just can't imagine you're gonna attempt like they're not gonna attempt heavy run attempts in that division. I imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you're gonna,
I agree, Jake. I mean,
yeah,
he's just gonna be great. Like,
you're gonna put the ball in the hand of your QB and say, "Hey, be better than them," because every team's D line is the nuttiest thing in the world, and it's like, hey, they're gonna be coming after you, but that's better than us trying to run it right at them.
Their defense is great. They're in a stacked division they're gonna have shootouts. Like there's just no logical reason, barring injury, that he just doesn't perform.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it, let's see what his ADP though is.
No, I think he's like 36 or
Stop.
something like that.
Okay.
He's
Am I right?
36.
Oh, I'm good. Look at that. Right now, find him with money.
36.
Someone did their studying. It wasn't me, but
I mean, yeah, I don't think it's crazy that like Herbert. I mean, I like him way more than Mahomes this season. So, I mean, yeah,
I mean, that's.
I'm not
I
too bad.
think Herbert has two receivers better than any wide receiver, that Mahomes has right now.
Yeah.
well, yeah, like you said, wide receiver, not receiver.
Yeah, I would not say that. I'm not sure either of them are better necessarily than Kelsey,
Yeah, that's.
but
I mean, the only
Hey,
thing
but
that could
if you're
hurt.
talking pass catchers for them though, they have 3 pass catchers that are really good versus Kansas City as one.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's really the point here.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think that could maybe hurt him is Eckler and Spiller. Maybe they run the ball a little bit more, but I still think they'll be fine.
That's what I'm saying. They're both good at
I don't
catching
think
the
you
ball out
can,
of the
short of
backfield.
like a major injury, I don't think you can really hurt his production too much. I think
Yeah.
his floor is like top 8
Yeah. I feel like
fantasy
his floor is
quarterback.
like 4,500 yards, 40 touchdowns.
I don't think that's his floor.
I mean, if he stays
That's a
healthy.
little high for a
My
floor.
thing is like, see, my thing. This is where like it's exact opposite to Lamar to me. Low red zone, like I don't think you're running it with Eckler. I don't think you're. I think you're putting it in his hand and playing quick game.
But isn't that why they got Spiller though?
No, that's what I'm saying. Spiller's another Eckler in terms of like, yeah, I really like Spiller, but like he can now Spiller's probably a little more can do a little more power, but like Spiller can catch that ball out of the backfield every bit too and everything. I think I think they kind of and I think they just know their offense and they know who they got in Herbert at QB and they say, hey, we're feeding this like this dude is going to control our team. We're going to win or lose because of this guy right here.
All right. Well, let's move on to our middle tier guys. I'll
They're
start.
all top tier for me.
In your heart.
Because if I like them, they're great.
All right. So my middle tier guy's gonna be Russell Wilson.
Ooh.
Russell Wilson. I mean, when you look at his past seasons, he was insane.
Yeah, but
He had a
think
span
about
there that he was
older
just the best.
think about older QBs who left their team they've been with their whole career to go to Denver. Have they
He
really
was
been
never
successful
the
ever?
best. He's always been a top 10 quarterback in fantasy.
I feel like Jonah interrupting my amazing point there kind of ruined it.
Yeah,
But,
it's kind of fucked up, John. I'm not
I
gonna
was
lie.
just you said he was the best.
but
But
anyways,
yes, the changing teams thing.
well, no, you missed it. I said my point was can we really think of any long-term QB who stayed with their team for the whole career only to leave to go to Denver and then had a successful season at Denver?
Yeah, but he didn't win until he sucked.
Yeah, but he did over 5,050 touchdowns, 55 touchdowns, which for the sake of fantasy, it was okay.
Yeah,
Eh,
I was hoping they would have something in here that could look at previous seasons. But I mean, he's got. I
So, I
mean,
mean, my guess is Russell Wilson throws for 5,055 touchdowns
he's
this year.
got
But,
great weapons this year.
well, he
I know.
lost Tim Patrick, so.
They did lose Tim Patrick, which is not great. But I think they have other people
losing Tim
behind him.
Patrick is a very disappointing uh, injury there. I really like him as just like he was just a reliable, just
As
like
a
if
third
all
receiver,
else
he's
fails,
so
if
good.
all else fails, you can always just throw it to Tim Patrick.
As a third receiver, he's an amazing fit for a third receiver.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
And
he's
now
still
it's
got
like
his weapons.
my guess now is his third best weapon's probably your boy Albert or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't
It
that the
might be a
title?
running back.
But I just like his weapons, and I like them being able to, still run the ball like Seattle did. But this is like the offensive line. I feel like Russell hasn't had a good offensive line ever.
It's not great,
It's better than
but it is definitely
Seattle's.
better. No, it's unquestionably better, but it's just slightly below average. It's
And then
not
on
even.
top of
It's
this,
still middle
all
of the
you
pack.
have a head coach that's just not
I,
hell bent on running the fucking ball.
yeah, but I am a little worried about his receivers.
I
because
mean,
they've been injured a lot lately.
can you blame Pete Carroll? He decided to not run the ball in the most important play of the season,
That's
and
true.
it backfired. So ever since then, he's been like, I will run the
He's got
ball.
PTSD. I can never call
Any
a pass
yeah,
again. Every
anytime I'm
pass
in
was an audible
question,
from Russ.
anytime I question whether I should run it or pass it, I just have to run it now because
But
of that.
and two, I just like his ADP. Like in two quarterback leagues, if you
Oh,
get
sure.
one of these earlier guys like a Hertz, Prescott, maybe Tom, or maybe you go a little earlier and get one of these guys, and you also if Russell's your second quarterback, I feel like you're chilling. Like
Yeah.
I think that's why I think right here Russell Wilson could easily, in my opinion, he could be a top 5 this year. If
I
they
think if
play
you
really
drafted
well,
like Josh Allen, he's an amazing two because you've
yeah.
got a multiple rounds there in between where you didn't get a quarterback as well. That's a good position to be in.
Russell could
Yeah,
easily finish somewhere in that 8 to 4 range. I feel like, which is perfect for. And then if that's where he finishes and he's your quarterback one, I mean,
You're
you're not
fine.
losing from your quarterback playing bad. And honestly, Wilson probably got you a couple games. So I just love where he's
Yeah.
being picked.
that's fair. I mean, Russell has been boom or bust for a lot of his career.
Hmm.
He's had a lot of seasons that average out good, but uh, yeah, he'll definitely win you some games. I wouldn't feel super comfortable with him as my number one unless I had like a really stable backup
I
or
think
number
I
two.
would be shocked if Russell isn't stable though this year.
I don't know. They've got two running backs who are both good and both will command a lot of rushes.
The question will be, will he form a relationship with one of these guys, like similar to what he had with Lockett, where it was like they were just always on the same page when scramble drills went down.
Yeah.
I mean, the indications out of camp are that he's teaching these guys real well, something they have
Yeah.
nobody else has been able to do for
Hey,
them
all I know
there.
is let's ride, baby, let's ride. With that
Broncos
being
Nation,
said, let's
let's
move on,
ride.
baby.
Also, wait, one last thing with Russ. I still, to this day, and I think I said this in another one too. He's the only player I've ever seen wear his own jersey, just like casually. It's the weirdest thing in the
He's a
world to me.
weird guy. That's why I want him.
Yeah, like it's so weird to me.
Let's ride. All right, who we going? Let's go with. You want to go, Jake, or do you want Jonah to go?
I can go if you want.
Go, Jake. Go.
I'm this guy excited about it. I mean, this guy. I don't know how to describe him other than tough as nails. A man who just sits in the pocket all day and will just eat it to release the ball. I have no idea why Drew's highlighting that guy, but that is correct. It is Derek Carr. He is
Not
going
the
to prove
pussy.
he is going to prove everyone wrong, especially Jonah. And Jonah is going to have to go to Carr face to face and beg for forgiveness after
Beg.
this man
No,
after this
I'm
man
gonna like just push him down
pops
and steal his
off
lunch money. It'll be so
after this
simple.
man pops off to finish as a QB7 in fantasy football this year.
I mean, I don't hate it. Why do you think that, though?
I
Something to do with the
Is
weapons
it?
he got?
Yeah, yeah. Only because he has the most ridiculous set of weapons in a division that we've already said is going to be shootout divisions probably half the time.
I mean,
We're
yeah,
like
I like it.
the his only potential hurt is they have the most power heavy running back.
And head
Eh,
coach
yeah,
now.
of the division probably.
And a head coach that
Um,
loves running the ball.
so that's the only negative, but like I still like you don't invest all that money in all those weapons unless you're gonna sling it around a little.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. His ADP's 10th round. I mean, I don't honestly hate if you really like guys, if you really like your running back, receiver, tight ends in those first 9 rounds, and you just want to kind of just ride with the quarterback in a one quarterback league, just pick Derek Carr and hope Derek Carr has a lot of upside this year. Like Jake says, I think he could easily be a seventh ranked quarter. Like definitely could make that top 10 for sure. So if you really like, if you really want to go running back heavy, receiver heavy early in the draft and get some studs and just kind of fill out your quarterback, sometimes, I think that's a big risk because I think quarterback, in my general assumption, probably should have said this earlier, I think quarterbacks typically won't win you a league unless maybe it's Josh Allen, but they can definitely lose you a league. So,
Yeah.
but I think Derek Carr's solid. Anything negative to say,
The big
Jonah?
thing with QB is if you go on them early, you have to hit.
Yeah.
Versus if you go late, it's like, okay, if you hit, now you're golden. And if you don't hit, then it's like, okay, let's see if we can either manage with two guys and rotate light weeks or pick up a guy that works well,
Yeah, you can
something
stream
like
a
that.
quarterback,
Yeah.
especially in 10 like 8 to 10 man leagues, like there's your smaller leagues, like streaming quarterback is a complete viable option. So, what do you have to say negative about him though, Jonah? Come on.
I
He said it all.
actually don't have anything negative to say about him because you can be on a terrible team that doesn't win anything and have amazing fantasy numbers. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Well, I
Look at
think
that.
we handled
We
Derek Carr.
switched Jonah's mind. He now's the Derek Carr stand.
All right, Jonah. Now explain to me why you like Trey Lance.
Yeah, because
The
that's a crazy.
upside, the
I I
upside's
don't hate it.
very good. It was already a tremendous offense
Look at all
that
those
with Jimmy Garoppolo, just a true game manager, has been so successful and put up so many good numbers. You add an extra dimension to the team with this. Like you lose a bit on passing, but with the creativity of Shanahan, you mask a lot of that, like any limitations he has is passing, and you just add a rushing quarterback. So for fantasy, his floor is just great. It's the kind of floor you really want, and he's being drafted at the same spot as Derek Carr practically. And
I
I just
am.
think there's way more upside.
I will say I like Trey Lance with you, Jonah, and I will say I'm blown away by in his like 3 actual starts he actually did like okay for a quarterback.
That's the thing is like he doesn't have impressive stats like 50% in 2 of those games
And he's gonna be way
completion
better this
percentage,
year. I
but it
feel.
doesn't matter.
I also think he's gonna be way better this year.
Yeah. I
So
mean, so far some of the passes have looked better this preseason. So I don't think he's going to be super accurate or he's going to be a stellar arm or anything, but I think he's going to be capable
and being
for
predicted that
sure.
his ADP right now is right there with Derek. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys say, Jake? Anything negative?
Um, so in a fantasy sense, I would say I don't necessarily feel negatively about him because of the stuff Jonah, like he can make plays with his feet, he can do stuff. What I will say is, as someone who's enjoyed watching the 49ers a bunch and stuff, especially these last 2, 3 years, I don't I don't think he makes them better. I think like everyone tries to knack on guys for being game managers and stuff. I think a game manager is what is perfect for that team. I
It's funny
don't
you
think
say
you
that
need a playmaker.
because from a fantasy perspective, that's irrelevant, but I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, so like I think the team's worse because of this.
Whoa, whoa,
But
whoa!
if you're
Save
talking
this for the
fantasy,
NFC West
yeah,
preview.
I know. The sneak peek into mine. But as a fantasy perspective, I don't love him, but I definitely don't hate him either. To me, he's like a risk though. Like I'm not going in with him as my core QB.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. Trey Lance to me seems like a good quarterback. If you wanna have the option, if you think I'm gonna go with Trey Lance and if he booms, I'm gonna ride him. But if he doesn't boom, I'm gonna stream quarterback. Like I think that's a solid option, especially in your smaller
Well,
leagues.
and the other thing I like the other scenario where you could get me to love him is like, hey, I get one of those early QBs in a 2 QB league, and then he's my second QB. And then I just get a late third QB who is literally like a game manager, keep you safe type thing, a Matt Ryan, Jameis, Wentz, Baker type guy.
Yeah, I mean I like it.
That strategy too, I think, could work really well.
I think
No, again, that's a 2 QB league,
I think
so you're saying yo, Wentz bumps.
let's move down
We're
here.
hating now, right?
Let's move down here
Oh
to
no, no, I forgot what we were
we'll move
talking
down here to the
about.
QB sleepers. I got a spicy one. A little
Yeah, not
Justin,
as spicy as mine.
a little Joe. Okay, let's go. I got a little Justin Fields. Now here's my Justin Fields opinion, and I'm gonna pull up somebody else to help me out here. You're sitting. Let me look here. We're
A
just
little higher, a little higher.
Justin Fields is getting drafted 12th round. Honestly, probably in some of your home leagues, you could probably get him lower than that. What you're doing with your friends and everyone knows,
Top of the screen.
all your buddies know the Bears suck. So we scroll down here and look at little Jalen Hurts. You see all these really good numbers? Now look at all these really good numbers and losses. Jalen Hurts was the king of garbage time last season. Look at these.
Man.
Look at some of these games he did bad when they won.
Looking at these Yeah, the very middling stats he got or fantasy numbers he put up in the wins has me concerned because this team is objectively better.
The
Well, I
Bears?
think the funniest.
No, 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 no.
Oh, you mean the
I
Eagles?
mean, yeah.
Oh,
I
Jake's
just got
Jonah's getting
Hurts, and
scared for the
this
Cowboys.
isn't fair.
Jonah's getting
Well, no,
scared
no.
for the
What
No, no,
Jonah's
no, no,
Cowboys.
no.
saying,
I'm
what
just
Jonah's
saying
saying
Jalen
is his
Hurts.
fantasy
I'm saying I'm
numbers
saying
are bad
negative
when they
on Jalen
win.
Hurts.
Yeah, Jonah's saying his fantasy numbers are worse when they win,
So
and he
I'm
thinks they're
negative
gonna
on
win more
Hurts.
this year.
Oh,
So he's
okay.
saying Hurts ain't gonna do good.
Oh, okay, yeah. But this is my thing.
Hmm.
Hertz was the king of garbage time. We've all said on our preview of the NFC North that the Bears are going to suck,
New
and
king of garbage time.
we're very confused. They're going to have a lot of garbage time this year. Fields is going to have to run for his life. He's going to be throwing the
Now
Cole
that's not
Kmet
just true.
and
That's not
Mooney.
just true because there's no receivers. That's also true because they've got the worst offensive line in football.
So
And no receivers.
if you're
And their
trying to
QB.
take the fattest shot in the dark, I like Fields this year.
I
I
mean,
like him to
bold
run the ball.
strategy.
Go ahead.
Bold strategy to draft a QB on a team that sucks for the hopes of garbage time points, though.
It is
Yeah,
a
but the
bold
garbage time
strategy.
starts in the second quarter for the Bears.
It's true. That is also
Yeah,
true.
my thing is like, are they so bad though that it gets to the point where like he starts getting sad in the fourth quarter because it's so over?
Yeah. He needs to watch Hertz film if that's the case. But I'm just saying I think Fields is an interesting shot. Like I think Fields could be very surprising this year and average somewhere in that like 17 to 25 range and be crazy solid for you and they just lose. Now be aware, have a backup plan cuz Fields could easily the Bears could be very bad and you get there right before playoff time into playoff time and Fields goes down with an injury and then they pull Fields for the rest of the season and you're sitting there with no
I
quarterback. So be
I,
careful
s-
with that.
I think I like Fields as a potential high upside backup.
I do too.
I don't.
I think you could do what you're saying.
I would never want to be trying to ride with him, even in a two QB league as one of my two QBs.
I think any of these like a Stafford in Fields, a Rodgers in Fields, maybe even lower down here like a Kirk Cousins in Fields. Like I think there's some good potential there. That Fields could overtake those guys. So that's why I have him where I have him. Anybody want to say anything, or we just want to move on to the other sleepers?
I would
I'll
just
save
say
it for when he
Fields.
comes back up.
Yeah, I would just say Fields scares me.
No, that's fair, but I mean we're in sleeper range here, Jake. It's
Yeah,
the point. I know Jake. I know you, Jake. I know you think all your sleepers will always hit, but they always don't.
they always. I literally never once missed.
Thank God. So let's go to Jonas. Jonas going with 30. Oh, 30 for 30 himself. Jameis
He
Winston.
got the LASIK vision surgery. He's back in action.
Coming off his injury season.
Might never throw a pick again,
So
honestly.
Jameis Winston was throwing to undrafted and seventh round wide receivers last year. He had nobody on that team. This year he's got Michael Thomas back. He's got
Mentally weak.
the what was it 12th overall pick Chris Olave, and he's got Jarvis Landry as his top three targets now.
And maybe an
That is
unsuspended Alvin
so.
Kamara.
That is yeah, and Alvin Kamara, and that is just so much better than what he was working with last year. And in that 30 for 30 season, he still put up very good fantasy numbers. Was it 19? I think he sat a year
Is he
behind.
Well,
Brees.
and the crazy thing is, like, you're saying, like, hey, those are good receivers. That's
Those
not
are
even talking
that's
about.
330.
Well, but remember, that's also Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith coming off the bench.
Jake
They are
Williams.
five.
Yeah, they weren't as good as you think they were.
My
But
thing is, as
you're
your
right. You're
rotation
right.
guys, there, those are two of the better rotation guys in the league, I think. Not like top tier, but like that is one of the probably
Look at that weekly
5
picks
to
and those.
8
Yeah, I mean, you're
best.
talking about what's gonna end up being like 5 targets a game, maybe.
Yeah. But my point being is,
I think it matters
my
way
point.
more what those
I
other
think.
20 targets are.
Well, I think my point is like even if you get an injury from one of those three,
Okay,
you're
okay,
not
sure,
sweating
sure.
because the guy coming in is a
And
guy that's proved they can play in a starting NFL role.
yeah, I just
Like,
think there's too many weapons on this team. And Jameis Winston has put up good numbers before, even if he's also put up bad numbers. The bad numbers just don't do enough to detract.
Yeah.
And he's getting
But
drafted in like the 15th round right now.
yeah, if you weren't going to talk about Jameis, I probably was.
I mean, yeah, I think too. He's a
I'm like,
guy. I think he's a guy too. And here's another strategy for you guys: that if he I mean, I don't think he would make it out of the drafts, but if he does, or if he's super late, and it's one of your last few picks, just to grab him,
Grab an extra
so that
quarterback.
he's not a guy
Trade
that
bait.
he's not a guy, not even trade bait. He's not a guy that someone picks up trying to stream a quarterback, and then he ends up being somebody that's super, super, good. So I think it's important, even if you have your two already, maybe even just grab him and bench him and see what he does.
honestly, slip off your wife. Especially if your second one isn't a dude you feel great about.
Exactly. I was hoping to
Like,
see. One of you guys look up
you were talking
who they
about the
play
Trey
week 1?
Lance thing. You were talking about the Trey Lance thing. I would love, like,
Oh, here we go.
okay, you get one good QB and you get Trey Lance and you get and then you get Jameis on the back end to like kind of be your cover for Lance.
Yeah, I mean, even too, I think if you're a guy trying to stream quarterbacks, get Winston for week 1 because it's a great matchup for him.
Yeah.
Week 1's good. You maybe don't play him week 2, but then you got week 3,
I like that his best matchups are teams he gets to play twice.
week 4, week 5. I mean, he's definitely got a good start to the season, so I think it's probably important to grab him and prevent people from being able
Also,
to stream him.
The Bucks look scary there at 2, but the Saints haven't lost a regular season game to the Bucks since Tom Brady got there.
Yeah. So, yeah. He's a good pick, gentlemen. He doesn't have he's not as scary as Fields, but I don't know if he has the same upside. But then again, he might. Who knows?
Ooh, we'll get there.
We'll get there. I mean, Jake, reveal your sleeper.
All right, so this is actually crazy. I didn't even realize this until we were going. All three of our sleepers have a bye in week 14.
Ooh, who is it?
I mean, so you can just scroll right down there. You can just scroll right down there to him. The most obvious choice of the week 14 buys. You are correct in that it is Marcus Mariota. Heavy sleeper. Heavy sleeper. You
Like,
don't
he's
have to
got me
draft.
snoring right now.
You don't have to draft him. You literally don't have to draft him. He will not be drafted in a league. No chance. But I think they're just gonna sling the ball all day long. And I think two of those defenses in the division, you're gonna be able to sling it well. Half the time they end up in shootouts with the Falcons and the Panthers. I think they're gonna be slinging it. Look at all the green. Look at it.
It helps to be bad.
Yeah. You just play the worst teams in other divisions, so they're just going to be slinging the ball. You want to talk about garbage time? They're going to get some garbage time. And I think they're going to sling it a bunch. And I think he has weapons where it's like you get the ball in their hand and then they just go make a play. Like Pitts, Patterson, London. Like, just put the ball in their hand and then let them go.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
an
think
interesting. That's an interesting one.
I like
Thinking about Patterson, how Patterson, he's not gonna like do all of his damage on rushes. It's gonna be passes for
yeah.
the most part.
This would be like, oh my gosh, you stole him. This would not blow me away though if he finishes up like somewhere in that like 14 to 16 range.
All right. I
I'd
don't know.
be
That's
flabbergasted.
I would be flabbergasted if he finishes like anything more than like 20.
I would also agree.
But I think this is a solid stream quarterback to look at.
especially because what I didn't realize is when you looked at those matchups, he got about 4 to 5 good matchups in a row.
Yeah, you pick him up in what was that like week 9?
Or something like
Oh,
that.
it was 11.
No,
Yeah, you pick him
it's
up
probably
there.
earlier now that I think it is probably earlier.
It'd be so sad though if Ritter had just taken over by then.
That's the risk with him is like Ritter could take over. I kind of
I think
this
this isn't a good enough team to put a rookie quarterback, especially one that you only had like 3rd round confidence in.
Yeah.
You throw him to the Wolves and he dies.
You let Mariota ride it out. If he can't get anything done, now it's an easy way to transition in the future. You don't have to be like
You pick him up after
I think Mariota's definitely a streaming option that's not bad, and maybe you try to pick him up in a week 6 or week 7 when he doesn't have a good matchup. That way you don't have to maybe spend any fab or waste a waiver
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
And then you just sit him on your bench, and everyone's like, "Wow, look at this fucking idiot." And then you're like, "Look at this motherfucker! I get him 5 weeks in a row. My waiver spot doesn't get ruined, and I don't have to waste any more fab." Like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good little stretch to keep an eye on. But
I think he's rostered on like 40% of leagues by week 3.
okay,
Ooh, that's bold.
that's a bold one, Jake.
Yes.
But that's a
I would
deep
be surprised
sleeper.
if it was 4% by week 3.
All right, now we gotta move over though and talk about a sad thing, boys. Gotta talk about someone we don't like.
Oh,
That's
we're going
everyone.
straight to the dat. We're not gonna just
Yeah,
jump
we're
around
gonna do.
positions.
No, we'll do the dislikes in position. We'll do the
Okay,
whole
okay, okay.
position.
Who
We
wants to
talked
start with
about this
this?
in the pre-discussion, Jonah, but
Joe doesn't listen.
he doesn't pay attention to the staff.
I'll talk
meetings.
about mine because I don't know how spicy your guys are, but I would imagine most people think mine's spicy. Now, shocker, boys.
Wait, who is it?
It's a guy. It's a Bengals player.
Oh man, you don't really?
Now, let me get
I
this.
think
Let me
a
get
lot of
this
the
straight.
argument could be made on that last page.
I didn't know. I didn't know you weren't a fan of Brandon Allen, bro.
Now, Burrow,
Oh, but
Brandon Allen,
he's the
Burrow,
backup.
Burrow is good. His team is good. His offensive line is better. But I'm just, I'm just
Look at those
scared.
swings, the volatility.
I'm just scared at the regression, and I don't like his ADP. That's mainly where this stems from. Burrow doesn't run the ball, so he doesn't have the same value as a Lamar, as a Murray, as a Hurts, even as a Prescott to an extent, around where around
Thanks.
the people
Skipping
around
Kyler.
him. Huh?
Skipped Kyler.
I said Murray.
Oh, I thought you. I misread you.
People have
My
two
bad.
names, Jake. I didn't know if you knew that.
Actually, 3 usually, but
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just have one, like Nene.
true.
But yeah, that's why I just don't. I mainly don't like Burrow's ADP. Call me a Bengals hater, whatever. But I just don't understand why you would pick Burrow over some of these other guys.
I feel like you would gladly go on the list of a Bengals hater, wouldn't you?
Fucking number one, baby.
Yeah.
I have
Number
to
one.
say,
They don't even
your
have a
opinion,
inside practice facility. Trash org.
that's not true
They got
anymore.
one, aren't they? Yeah, they got one.
They
Or they
just
do.
got one,
I
and they
not,
made it to the Super Bowl the
I,
first year they did it.
I don't like the word. Yeah, see? Think I mean you
No,
guys
they
could
didn't. They
Uh,
didn't. They didn't have it when they made it to the Super Bowl.
oh, they got it after the Super Bowl. I thought it was
Yeah,
before.
no, it was
Oh, see,
after.
now they're gonna get all high
Ooh,
and preppy. They're fucked.
ooh, rested on
It
their
was that
laurels.
gritty toughness of practicing outside all year that did it
Uh,
for them.
this is actually not the first time I've heard this opinion, but it's an opinion that I don't agree with, and that I don't think has a whole lot of merit, other than just hoping for regression. The
The
problem
Copium.
is, the problem is he's got 3 very good receivers, and he's got a running back that it gets very involved in the passing game.
Semi. Well,
I mean, he's at least in the screen game, so it's like
yeah,
he's got like pass catchers at all 3 levels.
yeah. It's not like
Like
to the
oh,
Herbert
and Tyler
level.
Boyd, I
It's
like
not
those
to like
receivers.
the level of Herbert or Kyler's backs,
No, 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 I'm
but
not
it's
saying that.
but it's definitely better than a good bet.
Yeah, I just don't like his ADP. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, so the one thing I'll agree with you on is like where he fits in ADP wise. Like you said, all the other guys are guys that can move around a bit more. They all have a rushing threat to them too. Now, what I don't know is like, I mean, I could see Burrow going either way because I could see him not being as great. Like I could see the running guys being good enough at running that they're better than him, and then he's finishing QB 8, 9, 10 ish, you know. But like, I could also see him elevating to that Herbert level and being right up there in that 3-4 range.
I think it's interesting because he definitely has better weapons overall than Herbert does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I
So
think I think I would go more on Jonas side of it and take the risk, but I don't know.
it's interesting you bring up the ADP thing because I think
I
it
think
is
that's
an
the most
interesting
valid
question.
argument.
It is an interesting question there, but I think looking at where he's going, relative to the other guys. I don't like those guys after him. Like I don't know that I would take for sure any of the next four over him.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone. I don't think there's anyone after him in ADP that I would take over him.
I think the thing is like you're not getting any extra value. You're not getting any less value in my mind. You're getting exact value with where you're drafting him. Like he will perform exactly as where he's drafted. In my
See,
opinion.
now I feel very different like that. Like I just said, I
I
think
mean,
it's
there's some
either.
potential, I guess, but I really feel like he's right there. Like this is he's very appropriately drafted.
Yeah, I'm looking. Am I tripping looking at that? Why is Russell 11 at QB, but overall higher? Like, y'all see what I'm saying? Seeing? Am I tripping? Am I having a stroke?
What are you talking about?
So he's the 11th QB, but he's at 78 overall, right? That's a 78, right? For Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
So
I don't know
he's
why.
so he's saying he's ranked behind like Tom and Rogers at QB, but then if you go overall, he's ranked ahead of them.
I think it means he's being drafted ahead of them, right?
Well, but why is the QB ranking any different?
I don't know. That's
No,
weird.
I was just seeing that. I was like, wait, that's weird.
That's a weird glitch.
I wonder if that's like, you get what I'm saying, Jonah? Like looking at that right
Sorry,
there.
audio listeners, you're gonna be lost on that one.
Yeah. But that was a weird moment. Because I was sitting, there, I was I would take Russell. I feel like I'd gamble on Russell in that spot, and then I realized, wait, that spot is actually a lot earlier than I was thinking. Looking at that list.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry, that
we'll move on. Before we move on to the next sleeper, we're gonna take a quick pause, and we're back. Sorry about that pause.
it was like 12 seconds or something.
It was 12 seconds. Yeah.
It was a spider. He was scared.
It was a spider. It was a spider in a car that didn't have gas, but it's fixed now.
And they drowned it with the gas.
Drowned it.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in
yeah.
the,
We
it was
went
in
to
the
the gas
tank.
station, get gas, drowned it.
Yeah,
But
still in
we're
the
gonna
tank.
jump over here to Jonah's sleeper. Or no, hate. I said
Oh.
sleeper before break again. Hate quarterback. Who do you hate, Jonah? I see. I'm such a positive person. I don't hate anybody except for Burrow.
I
That's copium.
I hate every second year quarterback not named Trey Lance.
Such a
I
lame
hate all of
hate.
them. I don't think they're gonna be worth a damn in fantasy.
This is the hate list of a nerd.
Let,
And
let's start. Let's name those guys.
this includes Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it technically includes Davis Mills, but Davis Mills isn't being drafted largely, so
And don't you like Davis Mills?
I think Davis Mills is a solid quarterback. I think he's not going to be fantasy relevant because he's doesn't really have a fantasy relevant team around him.
Ooh.
Uh, Mac Jones wasn't that exciting last year. He won't be much better this year, especially with the weird blocking shift, like run scheme they've changed this offseason. Mac Jones apparently isn't doing well with it. He's struggling. The team's not that good on offense. That one's clear cut. Trevor Lawrence got more weapons, so of course he'll put up better stats, and theoretically he'll be better. Still won't be good. Justin Fields has the worst receiving core in the NFL and the worst offensive line in the NFL.
But he's
There's
got a
just nothing going
lot
for
of
him.
garbage time.
Yeah.
That is a legitimate strategy. It's not going to work out.
You're not respecting the garbage.
Ooh, hate to hear it. Okay. I mean, I don't have much to say. I
I mean,
disagree
you
with.
already defended Justin
I
Fields,
don't.
so
Yeah, we don't have much to say. You just hated on all of the NFL.
I still like Trevor Lawrence. He should have the second year bump that most quarterbacks have.
you like him from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
In every
I think he's.
perspective.
I mean, ETN is good. James Robinson's good. His receivers are still pretty solid. I mean,
Well paid.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Kirk got
They're
paid a
wealthy.
lot, but Marvin
Yeah.
Jones has always been super, super solid throughout his whole career. Then they got Zay Jones, who apparently I think has been playing pretty well in camp. Like,
LaVisca Chenault.
I don't know about him, but the rest of the guys, they're doing well. Evan
Evan
Ingram scored in
Ingram,
the
if he can
first
learn to
game.
catch the ball.
He scored. He's already scored once. I mean,
He's
Trevor
good.
looked good in that first preseason game. So I don't know. I like Trevor. Definitely is like a late round as your second guy, or maybe even a third guy if you want to keep a third guy. I think that's fine. Especially two quarterback league, keeping a third guy. I like Trevor. Upside's good there.
Unless you get to like the 15th round and forgot to draft your second quarterback in a 2 quarterback league, don't touch any of them.
Okay. Well, Jake.
Same with Trey Lance.
Jake,
There's
who's your
just
hate?
upside on Trey Lance. It's a
My
much
hate,
better team.
my hate is the only second year Jonah didn't mention. Just kidding. That would have been pretty funny though. I probably should have done that one, honestly.
Oh,
That would have been funny.
I know who's Jake.
Wow. You think I picked Tua?
Uh huh.
You know me so well.
I know
I
my
did
buddy.
in fact I did in fact pick Tua.
Why do you hate Tua? He's got so much weapons now.
I actually love Tua as a person. That's the sad part. Like the two guys, I'm always like, man, I wish they could get it together because as people, I just absolutely love them. Are Jalen Hurts and Tua. But I don't buy
As a
what they're
Florida guy,
selling.
you chose two Alabama quarterbacks.
Yeah, I just love them as guys. Like I think what really resonated with me was like the just willingness to like celebrate each other during the whole time when Hurts got sad and Tua got the job in like the Natty, and just Hurts being like, "Hey, it's what helped us win." That like I just love both of them for all that stuff. Like I'm like it's like the coach aspect of it, I'm just like I love it. I love every part of it. So I would love those guys to be great, but the sad reality is they are not great. They are very average, and they're not going to be very good. The Dolphins, I don't think, spent all this money on receiver only to not get the ball very well and lose a lot of games.
I mean, he
I don't
had
know.
Maybe
Tua got a lot of extra weapons this year.
I know, and I think it means so little.
I
I just don't know
Maybe.
how it does though.
exactly.
I mean, they got Tyreek Hill. He's
Yeah,
not. He's not. I mean, like, he's not regarded as a top receiver for shits and gigs. He's regarded because he's a fucking beast.
Year two
yeah,
bump
but
from Russell. Still have
he
Gesicki. Got
is
Chase Edmonds.
this is my thing.
Good
Tyreek Hill,
coordinator.
Tyreek Hill is a great receiver. But Tyreek Hill is a great receiver as a gimmick receiver. In the terms of like he doesn't make the offense, he can help the offense because of his special ability. And that's the difference between him and the other top tier receivers, the Diggs, Adams, Jefferson, Chase, whoever you
Huh.
want to put in that. Tyreek Hills is more of a
You
gimmick
remember
where
the
it's like,
year? You remember the year that the Bucks won the Super Bowl and they played the Chiefs in the regular season, and
yeah,
Tyreek Hill had 260 yards by halftime.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's not the consistent. Like he is not consistently the
No,
carrier of
nobody's
that team.
consistently putting up to over 200
No,
yards.
no, I'm not. He's not even the
But
consistent number one receiver, like pass catcher. He wasn't the number one receiver on that team consistently. He was the number one
I mean,
receiver for the year for
he has
them.
what might be like the second best tight end of all time on his team next to him.
Yeah, yeah.
So of
What I'm
course
saying is
that's true.
even what I'm saying is like Devontae Adams in every given game is the number one. Justin Jefferson every given game is the number one. Keenan Allen every given game is the
That's
number
not
one.
the Justin Jefferson point is not always true. There are games where Thielen outplays him, but with Devontae Adams has never had another receiver to challenge that.
Yeah, all right. My point. If Justin Jefferson isn't the one, it's like he is in 12 or 14 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He is the number one. There's no questions asked. Like he is the predominant leader in that room for that week in week out. Tyreek Hill, hey, it's gonna be him 4 or 5, 6 of the weeks. It's gonna be Kelsey a bunch of the weeks. It's gonna be some of the other guys are gonna have it in random weeks, and it's a lot more like It's hard to explain it other than it's a more gimmick. Tyreek Hill is a significantly better Kadarius Toney, if that makes sense. Where it's like that is a fun player to have, but
What?
that dude isn't like a That dude doesn't.
All right, we're gonna forget that you just compared him
That's
to
on the level of fucking Trent Richardson, dude. What?
that.
I said he's a
Okay.
significantly better. Like he
And
is.
I
Like
do
I'm saying,
not care.
my
Those
my
two
point
names should
being is
not be in
that
the same sentence.
my point being is gimmick guys that do not fit the typical mold, but they have a special, unique trait that makes them like. There's not a whole lot of gimmick dudes in the league. Like I'm trying
This
to think of other guys who would fit into like maybe that's what ETN will be.
Drew, can you look at the year before? Oh, that's standard. Okay, can we pull up PPR
Yep.
and go back to 2021? Because that was incredibly volatile. All right, that evens out a little bit, but there's still like
Yeah, well, that's
there are
my
low lows on that.
yeah.
Very interesting.
That's my thing. That's how gimmick players are. Gimmick guys are like that, where you're bouncing back and forth.
Uh,
And so my point is, I don't trust Tua to be consistent because it's guys like that's the difference. A gimmick guy versus like a dude who's just a dude in within the offense, and he is the true one. Like they're always getting this. This is a lot more hopping around. He
I,
will have those freakish games, 100%. But I don't think it's enough to make
I just don't
Tua
think it. I don't think it
QB1
matters.
quarterback.
It matters. Like if he's down, there are still so many other people to throw the ball to. Like Jalen Waddle's gonna step up.
Waddle, who will be, I think,
Gesicki,
average.
Chase Edmonds, Cedric Wilson.
Gesicki means so little to me. Cedric Wilson means so little to me.
I mean, yeah, we're talking about like these lower down guys who aren't drawing the coverage that everybody else is. Like even if Tyreek Hill's having a bad game, he draws the coverage.
Yeah, that's how he kills biggest benefit for them. For the sake of Tua having
His
a great
biggest
fantasy
benefit is
season.
being a productive wide receiver.
Well, yeah, I'm saying for Tua's
But I mean, like,
fantasy sake, the biggest benefit is that Tyreek Hill can open up the field more for him.
I think you're a little too low on Waddle.
Yeah, I think
And by that I mean I think you're very low on Waddle, saying that he's average at best.
I would rather have Bateman.
you're hot. You've been normal, Jake, and then you just got hot.
Are you sure
Bateman.
you like Tua the person? This feels personal.
No,
I'm telling you, he's coming at him. He's attacking him. I just
I mean,
Tua's good. Like Tua's fine. His weapons are so much better. Tyreek Hill, I don't think he's this like only gimmicky guy. He's gonna open up Waddle. He's gonna open up Gesicki. I like Cedric Wilson. I don't know why Cowboys let him go. I think he's got great weapons and a good head coach now. That's a good offensive schemer. And he's
yeah,
super weird.
I don't buy it.
I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to be great. I'm not saying he's gonna be like in MVP conversations or anything, but I think from a fantasy perspective, he will have a solid season.
I
Tua
think it's
will be
gonna
at
be.
least top 15.
What was he last year? God, I can't ever find it. Dude. This shit's so confusing.
I don't. I would be
Tua's is a
shocked.
little weird because he missed a bunch of games.
I would be shocked if Tua finished in the top 16, the top half.
I think you're gonna be shocked, Jake. Oh, look, this season projection.
I mean, he's not being drafted in the top 16, is he?
Let's see. No. Oh, he is 16.
Oh, on 16 on the dot. And I think it's more likely that guys under him outpace him than guys above him.
Well, you don't like
fall.
Trey Lance, so you gotta take him out.
I don't necessarily like Trey Lance, but there's a reason Tua was my hate and not Trey.
You just said you should have done Trey.
Well, that would have been because it was funny because Jonah did every second year but Trey. So it would have been funny if I then did Trey. But you're asking me, Tua falls a good bit because Trey probably still stays in front of him fantasy wise. Trevor jumps Tua in my opinion. Deshaun jumps Tua in my opinion. Mac Jones jumps Tua in my opinion. Jameis jumps Tua.
I think the only two that I'll even entertain are Deshaun Watson and Jameis Winston. And then I think he
Yeah,
could.
but you just
I
said you
could easily
hated all
see
second year
him.
QBs.
What?
Yeah, but that's because those other two are second-year QBs who you just said you hated all of them.
I'm saying like even Matt Ryan there, like I think it will be worse.
Yeah, I didn't.
He was
Did I
right
say
around that.
Ryan?
No, I don't think you said him, but like he's the one really close in ADP. But I, I don't know. I think right around league averages for starters is exactly where he's going to be.
I think Tua's gonna
And
be
with where
fine.
he's being drafted, it's fine.
I think he's gonna be fine. I don't think he's gonna bust. I don't think he's gonna not be good. I don't agree, Jake.
I would guess bust.
I don't. I don't think. I don't know. You can call him a bust for where he's getting picked.
Well, I'm talking about for the fantasy.
Even where he's getting picked 16. That's pretty
Yeah.
low. That's like half of the.
So what
there's
are you
only 12 teams in a quarter.
what are you saying he'll average like 12 points a game?
He might average more, but I think it will be because of a boom and bust type stuff. Because I think they'll have some really productive weeks on offense and then some weeks that are really ugly.
I just don't see it. I mean, we're have to wait and see at this point, but
So like maybe he sits somewhere at that. Like if he sits at that 16-18 area in fantasy, he sits at that 16-18 area in fantasy, but it's not a good 16-18. It's not like a what I think Carr did it a few years ago where he was just like he was sitting right around that mark, but he was just literally dropping like 18 points every week type thing. Where it's like, okay, you can live with that because it's a consistent average, you know? I think it's like oh, you get 6 weeks into it this week, and then 28 this week, and then 6, and then 5, and then 12, and then 24, and then like I think everything's hopping around like a hand grenade, just going all over the place.
boom, 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 boom. All right. Well, that was our last hate. We're gonna
For the quarterbacks.
for the quibs.
For the
We're gonna go to tight
quarterbacks.
ends. But first, we're gonna take another break.
El Titaninos.
El Breako againo, then tight end Inos. Then we're gonna finish with tight ends. We're probably gonna stop there for this episode. They'll jump ahead and we'll do running back and receivers
That'll
in the
be part
next
one.
part one of
Right.
the fantasy copium take. So
Yeah, once we get through tight ends.
we're gonna take our break and we'll be right back.
Another spider.
We're back. We're back again. This is the second time we've tried to do this. We've been destroyed by a cat. A cat single-handedly has corrupted the video file, and we're gonna have to try to do the tight ends over again.
It's a very smart cat.
It's so sad. I'm sorry. It's so sad. It's so sad.
He's mentally boomed at this point.
I'm so mentally boomed.
There's no will.
Draft fucking draft Kelsey. If you have the first pick in the first round, draft Kelsey with it. Just see how your team looks.
Oh man.
Wait, are you saying Kelsey's your love pick?
Sure, bro. Kelsey, I love him. I fucking love that
The
guy.
cat broke him.
All right. Well,
It's
you know what we
over.
could actually do? This just popped in my head. We're not gonna. I don't think any of us want to sit here and rehash everything we talked about. But instead of doing what I say we'll just tell everyone what our three tight ends were that we all liked. I liked Kelsey mainly just because he's real good. They lost Tyreek Hill. We're gonna quick summary here. They lost Tyreek Hill. I like his targets.
You want me to? I can go real fast right here if you want.
You guys all start thinking. Oh, you guys are gonna do something. We're
Wait.
going off the cuff here. You do yours. You do your guy. Jake. Jonah will do his.
Well,
guy.
I was saying I can recap everyone real fast. All of our takes on all of them really fast if you want.
No. Everyone gets to talk about their own takes. Why?
Okay.
Everyone. Kelsey. Tyreek Hill's gone. Targets are gone. He's gonna get a lot of targets. He still is Patrick Mahomes' guy. He's gonna do good. Offense is still good. Pick Kelsey. Like him on the turn more and more every day. Go, Jake.
You want any of our dissenting view on Kelsey with anything? or
No. Just go.
Oh, sad. Okay. I want Kyle
Only
Pitts. I
positive
love
Copium
him.
this episode.
Only positive. No negative. Love Kyle Pitts. Big fan. Great guy. Great player. All about Pitts. I really like him. I mean, at over 1,000 yards, only one touchdown. I think that's an anomaly. I think he's going to definitely have more than that this year. If he has 5 touchdowns, and does the exact same, he's a lock for tight end 2, basically. And I think he'll do at least that. Mariota in his time playing with the tight ends when he had Delaney Walker, Delaney finished 6th, 5th, 4th, and 5th as the tight end in fantasy. and Kyle Pitts is a better athlete than Delaney is, and a better tight end than Delaney was. So I think, yeah, at least in the fantasy aspect. So I think that's pretty safe that he will finish at least top five, and if not better. The other key takeaway I thought was that with the Falcons in 2021, they're in the second fewest plays out of any team in that team in the country, and they still had Pitts finish as the sixth tight end, and Patterson finishes the ninth running back. So if they even come a little bit closer to average, Pitts should also spike because of that too, because they just ran so few plays last season. And the odds of them having so low play count compared to the league, and also Pitts having the anomaly of only one touchdown but somehow breaking 1,000 yards, the odds of those both happening again are 0 to none. Like it isn't going to happen. So his production is going to be up a good bit. I would be shocked if he isn't at least tight end too.
Okay, go Jonah.
Dalton Schultz, starting tight end on what was the most productive offense last year, with a big target void. Got much better at the end of the season when Michael Gallup got hurt. That he's gonna start the season out like that. Take all those targets. There's nobody else really stepping up right now. Looks like I think he'll be top 3.
Okay,
Being drafted at 6, pretty late.
okay.
Like the
And
value.
And then we won't skip him again. Jake can still talk about him. We'll go to our sleepers because this is the true copium. This is the most copium take I can give you. Nobody likes the top tight ends anyway. You pick the later tight ends because they're the better value and they'll still be good. That's the copium take. Well, we had to talk about the big guys, the big names. You're not gonna draft them anyways. So Jake, talk about your sleeper.
Yeah. We did all actually say that while we like our guys, we would like to get them at a little lower value than what they were at. So that is
Yeah,
fun too.
yeah,
Um,
copium.
But anyways, my sleeper is super sleeper, Brevin Jordan. He's way down there. You don't even have to draft him. You can pick him up as a free agent or draft him like last round of the draft if you want. Wasn't the starter last year and still had solid production, scoring double digit in what 3 or 4 games, I think. Three, maybe almost four. And that's as a guy rotating in, not even a starter. Which is I think it's pretty safe at this point that he's going to lock up the starting job this year. And I think he has a chance to be a good sleeper for a snag. What I would recommend is he's your potential boom tight end, and you try to have like a little more consistent average guy that you already have that you draft in that late mid to late, somewhere from like 9 to 13, draft a tight end that you think is like a safe guy that you feel decent about, like Dawson Knox or something like that. And then this is your guy you take late as a flyer, especially if you're in a like keeper league or something where you can keep him for super low value in future years.
There you go. So now we're back to where the cat ruined the pod.
But we did it in about 4 minutes instead of 24.
Yeah, so you don't get the hard hitting
Like 3 of those minutes were you.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, he's
Had a
got
lot
to
to
get.
say
to
about
be
Pitt.
fair, I've done 2 players, y'all have done one, so suck it, Joe.
I think he was mainly referring to whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, I'll talk about my guy. I gotta talk about my Pittsburgh boy. My
So, yeah,
Pittsburgh,
keep okay.
my Pittsburgh
Oh, I like that.
boy,
I like that strength of schedule.
Pat. That's so, dude. We have like such a hard schedule. Every team we
No,
must play
no,
just
they're
have
talking
bad
about-
tight ends.
They've got-
bad
They've got a
tight
weird
ends.
metric for that.
Pat, the Muth, the Muth, the Muth. I mean, yeah, like Pat's gonna. I mean, he's pretty good, especially towards the end last year, or maybe not towards the end, but like the second half of the season when he started playing a lot more. And Penn State guy, his camp has been pretty good supposedly. I think Trubisky and Pickett like him, so I think that kind of narrative is not something you need to worry about. And he's not going to. When's he going? I haven't even really kept. Yeah, he's going in the 11th round. So yeah, I like Pat. This is in general kind of my tight end strategy. It's just like is usually something around like this Goedert and down range. I've always liked the sleeper tight ends. I think that's where the value is, and almost every year there's a tight end somewhere out of the top 10. There's usually multiple out of the top 10 that make it like even higher than like 8. Like they usually make it like Schultz last year. I don't even know what Schultz was. Schultz even drafted last year? I don't
No,
know.
because he didn't start the season as the starter.
Yeah. So I mean, and then Freiermuth was pretty good last year.
People were still huffing their Blake Jarwin copium.
Yeah. So I mean, in my opinion, for tight end, the general consensus for me that I kind of go with tight ends is, if you don't get those top three, top four guys, then you go past the 10, because I think a lot of the time, most years, that 5 to 10 range of tight ends is usually a good trap. And Pat Fryermuth just avoids it being 11th this year. So, anybody else want to talk about Pat the Muth? The Muth is Luth. The
No,
Muth.
I don't really feel strongly either way about him. I'd be I'd be a little concerned that you guys have quarterbacks that have more arm strength this year. Whichever one of them takes the job, and that might chip away to some of his production. But I don't feel strongly about that.
I like him. I like him in this range. I like this in this range of tight end. For me, it's a few guys I like, and then like everyone in this little range here is like I either really like them or I really hate them. I feel like,
Yeah, I mean, I
and
think
he's
Pat
he's
Fryermuth is legitimately the last tight end before you're taking shots. Maybe if you want to, I know Cole Kmet is a very common sleeper guy
yeah,
right
guys
now.
like Cole and Gesicki. I'm not a fan
Well,
personally.
I mean, if you've been
Mm,
keeping up with the news lately, Gesicki is someone you need to stay away from.
Yeah, I
He is
know,
very
but I
scary. I
I
mean, like they were playing him into to the fourth quarter of a preseason game because they think he needs to work on blocking. So I don't like, I don't like that. So Cole Kmet, I think, has way more value than Gesicki does this year, as we don't talk about Fryermuth. but but yeah,
all right,
yeah, I like that.
the Muth.
so my sleeper is Robert Tonyan. He's getting drafted pretty much at the end of drafts. Some leagues not even getting drafted.
Big Bob.
He's not he's not amazing. He didn't have a very good season last year, but 2 seasons ago he was pretty good. Had all those touchdowns. Had 11 touchdowns that year. He had a hard touchdown regression last year.
He got hurt.
But without Devontae Adams, I think there's a good role he could fill in, especially with all the rookies at wide receiver. There's
Are there rookies
not
that
much there to
Aaron Rodgers
fill
hates?
Adams' shoes. Yeah, yeah.
Rodgers, like
Publicly attacking him.
seventh time in a row in the last like 2 days is it verbally attacked the rookies for sucking. I mean, yeah,
No.
I think when you look ahead to it, like when you look at the Packers offense in general, I think uh, it's what Jonah's saying. I don't think the receivers are gonna take over. Um, and when we go talk about receivers, I'm sure we'll talk about Devontae Adams too. But I think beyond what Devontae Adams is gonna be this year, I think when you remove someone like Devontae Adams, who was I think he was more than just losing it's crazy to say, but I think he's more than just losing the second or third best receiver in the league. They're removing like a key component to their offense. Like it's the same. I feel like if you remove Cooper Kupp right now from the Rams, like this team is going to be a lot different, and I think it's more than just targets. I think they're going to be looking for a lot of things. As Packers too are a team that love to throw touchdowns when they get within the 10, which is not as normal. Like where they're one of the higher teams. So
And
I
the
like
Packers are just a team that just does not want to invest in pass catchers.
exactly. I like Rob Tanya. I think for
I
people he
really
just
like
got
him at
hurt
his
last
value.
year.
I don't feel like secured in that, but I like the flyer on him at the end.
Jakey.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a fly on him, sure. I wasn't really high on him ever, even 2 years ago. I don't know how to explain it or like what. Watching those games, I was watching him put up fantasy production, and I get the point. This doesn't matter, but like it all just seemed off of weird stuff to me, if that makes sense. Like I felt like it was just like bust and Rodgers finding stuff and making stuff happen. I didn't feel like he was making plays. And if you're saying for a flyer tight end, hey, I'll just trust Rodgers. Like, okay, sure, great. But because I don't really like him. Like, I don't think I would take him
I
even in
mean,
that
he
last round.
had a very good year that year. So I
Yeah, 100%. But my point being is, I don't think it was because of him. I think it's because of Rodgers, which is a perfectly logical reason to take someone because Rodgers is Rodgers. Um,
and what you're
so like,
describing is just how Rodgers always plays football.
yeah. I mean, to an
He's a guy
extent, yeah.
who lives and dies by getting out of the pocket, scrambling, and making plays out of nothing.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, Rodgers is. I mean,
As a Cowboys fan who's been on the losing side of so many Green Bay playoff games, he gets out of the pocket and just makes something out of nothing at crucial times. That's
hundred
just what he
percent. But that's
does.
not what he lives by. Like
It
he
is.
is. He
That's
can
how
sit
he
in the
wins
pocket. He
games.
can sit in the pocket and still be the best quarterback in the NFL talent. He doesn't have to get
He's
out
not
of the
gonna be
pocket
doing
to be
that
good.
this year.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. But like, it's not like he has an issue sitting in there in the pocket and throwing the ball either. He's slinging it no matter where he's at. My point being is, I think you're with Toyan. When I'm taking a tight end, I want a tight end that I think he can make plays, and I don't really see that with Tanya. I think Tanya can have plays made for him that you benefit.
Yeah, but I
And like
like
I
the
said, if
guy
you want to
making
take a
the
fly on him,
I like the
hundred
guy making
percent,
the plays for him.
100%. And if you want to take a fly on him, I'm not like there's no issue to it. I just don't think that's what I.
I mean, yeah, I think I liked. I mean, looking around too, what's near him. I mean, I know Everett's another sleeper that some people like, but I mean, I feel like he's a sleeper every year, which to me makes me think he's just not very. He's like somebody that's kind of good that everyone always thinks is going to be good, and he never is.
Yeah, I
And
think I would a
Frustrated.
lot. I think I would a lot rather pull the trigger on over jail.
oof, I don't know, dude. I just think that offense is just going to look so different this year, and I don't think Rodgers trusts his receivers, and beyond that, Rodgers doesn't do well with rookie receivers. I mean, so this Dobbs hype that's through the moon. The Christian Watson hype is so
Yeah.
lukewarm right now. It's not even funny. So, I mean, I just think, I mean, again, when we talk about running backs, I'll talk a little bit more about the Packers, but
Yeah, I think that, and I think that's where we're at. We think that's where a lot of the production will come. At least
so
me.
no, yeah, I mean, I just think, I mean, if he stays healthy, and I think too, like last thing I'll say at least is that I know Aaron Rodgers from stuff when he's on Pat McAfee's show or other stuff. He's always talked pretty highly of Robert Tonyan. So considering he essentially he publicly hates his receivers, so I'm gonna go with the guy that I know he said he really likes. So
And Copium take he's covering. He really actually likes his receivers and hates Tanya. He just
maybe.
says the opposite in media to try to save face.
If anybody would do that, it would be Rodgers. He does like fucking with the media. Okay, so now we've blitzed that out. Let's go to our hates. Jake, I want you
Wait,
to start your hates.
I
Alright.
started all the ones.
I mean, to be honest, Jake, I don't remember who my hate is.
All
I just know yours
I
not
know who
written down.
my hate is, and
All
I
right,
can hop
go,
in.
go, Jonah, go.
I hate Mike Gesicki.
Ooh, did I spoil it? You should have jumped in and been like,
Uh,
Shocker.
well, the problem with Mike Gesicki is that he's being drafted too high based on past production. But the offense that they're putting in right now is requiring him to be a blocking tight end. Like they literally today were just like, yeah, we're trying to trade him. He's too expensive for and he doesn't fit the role we're trying to shove him into.
and Gesicki wants to get paid
And
as
I think
well.
right now he wants to get paid. He wants to be a productive guy, and he's stuck being out there just like, yeah, you're gonna block 95% of snaps. You're barely gonna run routes. I mean, that's just it's not conducive to fantasy success of any kind. And he's being drafted in the 11th round. It's it's just
Um,
not good.
yeah.
Unless he gets traded, I don't see him being relevant all year.
Where would you see him get traded to that his value would jump up? I mean, I know that's on the spot trying to think of teams, but someone like,
Dude, I just don't think he is better than like any of the teams with a tight end. Like, I just don't.
yeah, I mean, I get, I mean, the news is not good for him right now in Miami. I think he will get traded because I think a lot of people do like Gesicki, and
I mean, he's put up 3 straight 700-yard seasons.
in Miami he's not
He's
going to pay him.
he's
So
talented.
yeah, be interesting. Definitely
I think
better
the problem
to
the
watch.
problem is that he's franchise tagged this year, so he's really expensive, and it's
True.
a 100% cap hit.
Yeah, I mean, I
So there's not
think
many teams that can afford to trade for that, and especially not a tight end.
I think, in my opinion, with Gesicki is don't draft him. Let somebody else fall in that grenade because you probably will get drafted. And then hopefully wait the 4 to 5 weeks. Then someone's gonna drop him because he's not playing well or not playing at all. And then just keep your eyes open for the trade deadline, because that's probably, if he doesn't go before the season, I bet you that's when he would go. And then maybe pick him up after the trade deadline, see what he might do for whatever new team, insert new team he's on. That would be my kind of Gesicki, I don't know, advice. But anything else to say, Jake? Do you hate him? Smells bad? Looks ugly?
So
Denver would be a good team.
the only reason I didn't pick Gesicki as my
Okay.
hate probably is because Jonah had picked first.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
So,
but
I mean, I'm like
I
that.
think you hate him in a different way than I do.
That might be true. I kind of think he's overrated as well as a player. Like, I mean, not as a player, as a fantasy player. I think a lot of his production, and again, a lot of his production, I think, just came that they were bad and they didn't have a way to get the ball to anyone on the outside because they were all bad in the past. So, like,
Yeah.
I think it was just like, well, yeah, get the ball to him and running backs because it's easier.
All right, now who's your hate, Jake? As I look to find my
Yes,
hate.
scour to find yours. Do you want me to just read yours to you? Would that make it easier?
No, I looked it up, but I don't hate that anymore now as
Ooh,
much.
Oh, Copium?
I
Is
just
that
think it's
Copium?
boring. I talked about Travis Kelce. Who's your hate?
My hate is Zach Ertz.
Ooh, really? Why?
I don't know. I just don't really. I don't really like him. I've never really like. He's okay. Like he's fine. I think where it comes down to me is the value. Like if you look at that list, there's like 3 or 4 guys post him that I think I'd rather take, and you can get them at just such a higher value. I have no confidence in Kyler Murray as well. Like as a fantasy, Kyler might be good, but as a quarterback for helping his other guys be successful, I don't know a lot of it. But like I would much rather have Dawson Knox or Pat Fryermuth. I maybe pulled the trigger on Cole Kmet before. Um,
I don't know. I can't agree with you because for whatever reason they just really like him in this offense. I mean, just looking at these last
yeah,
few weeks
the late
I mean,
weeks.
that's
Yeah.
crazy tight end
That target
targets.
share is
7,
insane.
11,
Yeah.
13, 9, 10. And you're talking about a team that's not going to have Hopkins for 6 weeks? Oof. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, they were banged up here at the end, weren't they?
Well, yeah, Hopkins was hurt. I mean, I'm pretty sure Hopkins was
Hopkins
out.
was injured. Wasn't
But
what's his name
but
injured? Running
but
back.
that's what's going to happen the
Um,
first 6 weeks this year.
Edmonds.
yeah, Edmonds was out. I
They
mean,
don't
they
have
were
Edmonds
all.
anymore.
I know, but my point being is, there's a difference from the guy was missing unexpectedly and hey, I know this guy's gonna be missing. When a guy goes missing unexpectedly, it's like okay, the guys who are already established in the offense are getting a ramp up in production. When you know that those guys are going to be missing, you now scheme your offense differently, and that ramp up in production is not as common.
I mean, I get. I don't know. I think Ertz is going to be fine this year,
I think he'll be
especially the
fine. I
first
just
6
don't think he's
weeks.
going to be.
I
I
mean,
just don't think he's going to be.
especially in PPR. Gosh,
I think
I
he's
mean,
going to be a lot closer to that what he did in the mid
you're talking about a
season.
team that has Marquise Drops Brown, J, James Conner, who, if I were the Cardinals, I would not give him the ball a lot because though as good as I think even still James Conner is, as he's left the Steelers, James Conner has never been. Whenever James Conner has a crazy amount of touches, he always gets hurt. So if the Cardinals are smart, they're gonna limit his touches. They
Yeah,
don't have Christian Kirk anymore.
yeah. I think Ertz looks a lot more like this mid area, the mid season area, where it's like he's having solid weeks. I asked him about for what you just show,
Hey,
like how he was mid season.
Well,
Like
I
I
think
I
think he's
mean,
Zach
all
Ertz
closer to
is
that.
gonna.
Where it's high and low end. I think it's a lot more of that than he is the
I
what
mean,
he
this
did
is
in the
when he
very
was in the
actually.
purgatory of the Eagles, though.
No. I'm talking about the like weeks
The few
7
weeks before the bye.
through yeah
I think
7
Zach
through
Ertz is
bye
going to
weeks.
start the season exactly how he ended last season, and then Hopkins is going to come back, and the offense is going to shift a little bit because they've got either a rookie or a second year back they're trying to groom into the Chase Edmonds role, and I think that he's going to slowly lose targets.
Who I don't
So I
think
think
has
he's a
played good
really
either.
good trade him based on his early season success and his name.
I like that
Tight end.
too. I do like that type
I
of
don't
play.
think he's going to be a good full season tight end.
I I think Ertz is going to be fine.
I'm worried that
Truthfully think.
I'm worried there's too many weapons because I think Rondell Moore, who they loved going into last season and just couldn't find the right role for, is going to have a bigger role. Marquise Brown is still going to command targets and doesn't drop everything.
And sometimes he gets
They
behind
traded a
people.
first-round pick for him, so they definitely want him to be a big part of their offense.
I mean,
And then they still have AJ Green, who does still command a few targets in the red zone, so it takes away from what Zach Ertz does.
and I think the Cardinals like Ertz. I think they really like Ertz.
I do.
7,
I think
11,
he just
13, 9,
I think
and
he gets
10
lost
isn't
in the
just
shuffle.
a
I think he's
7.
going to start great. I
Yeah,
just think he's
I
not
just-
going to finish
That's
great.
not just a random pump. We traded for this tight end. They also traded for him. I mean, it wasn't a first round pick, but they also traded
Yeah,
for
it was like-
him,
It was late.
and they gave him a lot of opportunities. I don't know. I like him. I don't agree. I don't agree with the hate, Jake. You're a hater.
But I'm just correcting you.
What?
I just hate the right people.
I think you just hate Kyler. What, you don't like Call of Duty? Is that it?
I mean, not really.
Ooh.
He's more of a battlefield man.
But he was calling
Ooh,
plays or
God.
something the other night, I thought.
Yeah, and they had, I think, 4 yards of offense in his 8 plays or something.
No. He also called plays in the next game, and he had 2 straight touchdown drives.
Oh, yeah. What about that? Huh?
So he's
I mean,
getting
did that
better.
happen? Did he actually call in the fourth quarter of the next game?
Yeah, he called 2 drives apparently and got touchdowns. I mean,
Yeah,
the previous week they had like -4 yards and 3 punts on those 3
Yeah.
drives that he did. But we'll forget about that. Recency bias.
Okay, well, shift to my hate then. Who I just made up on the spot. I'm going Darren Waller.
Yeah.
He's
I'm assuming this is almost solely based on too many weapons around him.
he fucked me last year. This was based on
This is a revenge hate.
this is a revenge tour hate. But your point does help me, Jake. There's a shit ton of more weapons in I
Like
almost- I almost
DeMarcus
said
Robinson. Wait.
Oakland. Ooh.
Oh,
Why are you talking about a Ravens receiver?
Ooh.
that's how good he is. They sent him to the Ravens for Delaney Walker. That was the trade. It was just a few years in between.
I think Waller, the combo of adding the second best receiver in the league to the team, changing the offense to probably be a little bit more run heavy, letting Derek Carr work with his receivers a little bit more. Waller also has had a problem staying healthy. I think this is and then
I think
on top of
Josh
all that,
McDaniels is going to incorporate a bunch of running backs in the passing game too.
and then on top of all this, you're picking him in the 4th round. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I think you stay away from him. I think there's way more value at the top. If you really want a good tight end, get one of those first 3. And if you want, maybe go with Jonas Guy Schultz. If you want someone to be solid early, and then you do what kind of I think you should do, and just get one. Find yourself a flyer. Go with that Ertz, Knox, Fryermuth, Komet kind of range. So that's kind of
I'm gonna
I
be
think-
honest.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go, Jonah. Go first.
No, I was just gonna say I wouldn't touch him until like the end of the 5th round, but I still think he's worth drafting. Just not where he's being drafted right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you can get him, you would have to be probably a pretty late sleeper, honestly. Not sleeper, but pretty late and a pretty solid fall for him for me to take him. I think, just because of how
he's
many
just
weapons
not
they
getting
have.
anywhere
That
close to 100.
45-point
There's
game
just
is crazy though. Look at that Week 13 game.
Yeah, but there's just no way he gets that many targets this year. I just can't see that happening.
No, not a chance. But it just, I mean, I don't think he would have. Maybe he would have come close to it. I
Look
guess
at
he
me,
would have.
look at me weeks he missed, and he's still got 93.
That is crazy. That was wild.
And it's because he got 19 week 1. Holy crap!
Ooh, yeah. Like Week
Should
1.
have traded him
Man,
after week 1.
everyone should have traded him after Week 1 for Travis Kelce. Just immediately. Um,
I fucked up. I
But-
love that too. Hard schedule. I knew that. Stay away.
yeah, I don't hate Waller. I don't know the value. Like else, the values. But
you're not
looking
even-
at this list, can I just add something real quick? I kind of hate myself for this. I really probably shouldn't have picked Zach Ertz as my hate looking at this list now. I probably should have picked Goedert.
Goddard.
Yeah, go.
I thought it was Goddard. Oh, he's got the.
It is.
I knew you knew he was the worst. He had the hardest schedule.
I actually didn't know that, but
That's the second.
Oh.
yeah, I'm just looking at the value, and that value looks terrible to me. Like I don't like Ertz's value, and he's like I think he's 17 spots in front of Ertz.
I mean,
And
I was just gonna say, I think you have a point here when you consider that the whole problem the whole time was they were together and the Eagles didn't like that, so they're like, okay, we'll get rid of Ertz, and Ertz left and played good, and Goedert stayed and played bad.
I don't think you can look at
Yeah,
that and say that he played bad.
yeah,
I mean, he
is.
had good games, but you know,
Like he had some bad games, but I mean, like that's a 7-13 game. That's not like
what
that
about
one.
this?
That one. I'll
What
give
about
you.
the
I'll give you
what
the
about the
Denver one.
30 to
I'll give you the
13
Denver
game?
one. Man, only
Yeah, I
2
think
targets though.
I think
So
my
weak.
issue with both these guys, I just don't trust the QBs to be consistent, and that's why I don't like either of them.
And two, if we're gonna play the well, I guess they weren't getting smashed. I can't play that card. What about this though? He played 4.3. This is when the Eagles. This is when they ball. It's when they lose. It's when they have garbage time.
No, that's when Hurts balls because he runs more.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm lucky.
I mean, Dallas, he didn't even play.
I'm confused. This is PPR, but it's definitely not doing PPR for your points. Am I just tripping?
No, it's just not updating. Broken.
Did you hit like go or something? You had to hit go.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, no, other reason.
Ooh, it
Oh
still
yeah,
makes
it
these
is.
bad weeks look bad.
Makes it worse, huh? So.
But I mean, I agree. I don't
Yeah.
like Goddard either.
So that I would maybe
Jonah's
maybe
defending him
adjust
because
for
he
that.
kept
I
him
don't
in our
really.
keeper.
I still don't really
Yeah,
like
but I
either
kept
of
him
them.
for a 10th, so I don't really care.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah.
the crux of his point is that he doesn't like him being drafted in the 7th round.
Yeah, the fact that he's 17 in front of Ertz blows my mind. Like that's what I think my thing is just Knox and Firemouth. I think I like more than either of those.
I don't like Knox more than any of those guys. I think I would knock Knox down like 3 or 4 more.
I honestly too.
Like get
I-
Gesicki off the list and then just the next 3 guys.
I would honestly piggyback with you, Jonah, to give you another person I don't like. Since we lost our people we do like, I don't like Knox this year either.
Wow. I mean, y'all just hated on my keeper now.
I'll give you he's on a very good team that's going to pass a lot this year. So I think that's going to help him. But I don't know that there's just I don't know, that team like with the Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie, there's just too many people stepping up.
Yeah.
And
I
he was
agree.
very touchdown dependent last year. I mean, he only got what 71 targets?
Yeah.
That was less than Goddard and Ertz, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's this kind of same mentality.
But he was
I
super
have.
banged up. He was super banged up a bunch of this. He was on a limited rep count for like 6 or 7 weeks.
So he's injury prone?
Yeah, and they also brought in OJ Howard, who I think is going to definitely steal some snaps away from him.
I don't think he does. Because I think OJ's problem, I think, is nothing to do with athleticism, but rather just putting together the offense. I don't think it changes all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Knox as the player, and I don't think Knox is going to be like terrible. I just don't think Knox has the upside he has as much as he had last year. That's it. I mean, like Gabriel Davis is going to. I mean, if you look at the preseason, I think this scramble drill was a perfect example of, you know, Josh Allen kind of steps up, scrambles for a second, then he finds Gabriel Davis. Where I feel like maybe sometimes that was Knox in the past, so maybe Gabriel Davis.
Knox only had 1 double-digit game without a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I think too. That's another point. Like when you look at the guys around him, it's like Ertz gets targets. Freiermuth is probably a bad example, but you know, Cole Kmet will probably get more targets than Freiermuth and Knox probably this year. I think. We're not talking about Gesicki. Goddard will get more targets.
I don't know. Maybe this is a me thing. I just don't know if I give a rip about a guy being touchdown dependent when they're on one of the most efficient offenses in their key red zone weapon.
I don't think he is anymore.
But I mean, he shouldn't
That
be
remains
still a
to be
key
seen.
red zone.
But
And you're
I
talking
mean,
about
he went like 5 weeks at times without touchdowns.
He literally, the longest he went was 2 games. Unless you count when he
No.
was injured.
2.
I guess if you want to count when he
3
was
games
injured,
there,
the bye,
and then
the
every
week
other
before
game
the
there at the end.
bye, injured, then 2 games missed.
So yeah, he went 5 weeks.
Look at this goose egg he
Yeah,
put
but
up in
that's-
the championship week.
No, you're right. That bad stretch at the end.
That's not. I don't even. I think he was very limited again. Although I don't remember. I thought he was limited those 2 weeks because I remember I don't think I touched him. Because I remember I had him in the week I won it. I had him, but I was sitting in those weeks.
Goedert, I mean, Knox just scares me way more as picking him in the 9th round as opposed to last year where he was mostly undrafted, right?
He was undrafted universally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think most fantasy owners knew his name.
God, I swear, in general, again, I've said it 1,000 times. The tight ends, just don't draft one unless you want one of the top 3. Don't draft one. Get a Cole Kmet, get a Evan Ingram, get a Njoku, get a Irv Smith, get a Toyan, get a Everett. Maybe he finally breaks out. I just think it just makes your team so much better.
How old is Everett? Is Everett over 30?
Nope, 27.
27.
And that's Everett.
That's Ingram.
I was gonna say. I was like, I thought Everett was old.
28.
28. Also
Damn,
not.
he's 28. He's been trying to break out for 6 years.
Brevin Jordan. Get him.
Get him. Get Jake's help.
22.
Well, I think that's gonna do it. That's
I'm all
gonna.
about the young
you
tight
know?
ends.
We still got 34 minutes on tight ends. Sorry, you would have got more, but blame my cat. She ruined it for you guys.
Terrible cat.
We gave
No
you
way,
the
she'll never do
quarterbacks.
it
We
again.
gave you tight ends. One day you'll get running backs and receivers. Just
That
comment
day
and
is today.
comment in the video in the comments and comment that Jonah should stay up and do the next pod with us.
Yeah.
So that
We'll
way
knock it out.
so he'll see it and he'll be excited. But that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Share it for the kids. And we'll see ya in the next
Make
one.
sure to send it to your local crack addict.
One day you'll see another pod from us. Goodbye.